racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Good evening and welcome to the blipclothing.com hard and fast series brought to you by driversclub.net.au. Sorry, we're here at Barber Motorsports Park using the short B track layout, and this track, despite being just 1.2 kilometers long, manages to have a chicane, a hairpin, and a lot of elevation change. And race, this should be a wild race. Probably more overtaking opportunities today than we've seen the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to take a look at what the layout exactly is we're using. You see the relative locations of everything around Barber Motorsports Park just outside Birmingham in the state of Alabama. And zooming right on in to this incredible facility, which was built in 2003, one of the finest newer road courses in America. There is Barber Motorsports Park, and the yellow is what we're actually going to be driving on tonight. The very short B layout, and not a long run to turn 1, which is actually quite open, and turn 3 hairpin super tight.
Yeah, they might be they should be flat out through 1 and 2, and then hard onto the brakes to turn 3. So standing start today, back to standing starts for this evening, means it's going to be a massive shock for the driver who leads him down into turn 3 when he suddenly has the whole field on his bumper heading into that corner. And we're going to have a few heats to set the grid for our feature at the end of the night. And I got distracted by watching the transition from Google Earth imagery to live iRacing imagery right there.
Yeah, you see those little ants down there on the circuit. Those are our drivers getting in their final few practice laps before the qualifying session goes off. We got about 7 minutes left in the practice session. Then we're going to have a 10-minute qualifying session, 8 laps each driver has to set their time. You see those cones there on the left of your screen. That is the start-finish line here at Barber Short B, with quite a cramped pit lane to boot. So we've got this nice angle here, just in case we get any super close finishes like we did last. Whoa!
What? What was that?
Johnny Christmas! What on earth was that? Car number 720, Adam Neal. Okay, well, we're getting this broadcast off to a great start, aren't we, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
my Lord.
So he's come out of the final corner. He's grabbed the grass. Now he's just got into the fence. And
Oh, yeah. Tried to go into the pits, but ended up going in there at full speed. God, that was a surprise that I did not need. Goodness me. But
at least
either
we
way-
know where the start-finish line is this week, as opposed to our first 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. That's the pitfall slightly with these really short road course layouts. It's sometimes not entirely clear where the start-finish line is, but thank goodness we're able to see it here at Barber. And I mean, you can see it well enough from the air. It is quite a challenging circuit. As we take a look at these drivers' standings, Jeremy Clark currently on the top, 8 points ahead of Jordan Pruden, and there is quite the gap back there to James Ruwalt in third, but looks like the gaps are quite close all throughout the top 10.
Yeah, Clark and Pruden. You're very quick over the first 2 weeks, and third on back of they've all had one good race, good week, so to speak. Ruwalt, Boyd, Mirot, Skurlock, Shooter, Dance, Schultz, and McLaughlin. Schultz actually got a penalty at the end of last week for his part in some of the chaos we saw right throughout the night. It was wild out at Mid-Ohio. That first corner saw a few rollovers. And, well, we do have a downhill run again today. I wonder if we'll see any more today. We've already seen one, haven't we? not even into qualifying yet.
Yeah, for sure. And we're sure to see quite a few more here. The Rush Sim Racing Shortcut at Barber is the official name of this event, and well, quite the shortcut you make getting back onto the back straight. The hairpin is actually so tight, it's quite tempting to use the handbrake to get around it in these powerful rallycross cars, but considering that it's completely tarmac, and the handbrake doesn't quite help you much anyway. You see Michael Skurlock demonstrating the turn. He is not using the handbrake at all, just getting the car turned purely on the strength of brakes and acceleration. I also want to point out, we have a new driver in the field tonight, Matthew Feldman. He was asking around about how to join up in the series here on the SimSpeed Discord. Got some help from Cameron Dance, who also competes in this series, and Feldman has certainly made a statement in his first appearance in Hard and Fast. He is topping the practice timesheets. You see him 300ths of a second ahead of Jeremy Clark there. And Simon Mazzomo with a really good performance in the practice session as well. He's on pace.
Yeah, I reckon Cameron might be regretting that decision to allow to give Feldman the pointer towards the series, blowing him away at the moment. Cameron Dance is at the very bottom of the sheet at the moment.
He hasn't actually done a lap.
He's that slow, he hasn't got back to the start-finish line yet. That's the Worm Paints car. Typically bright and colourful. And off the racetrack.
Yeah, very easy to go off the circuit there at the final turn at Barber. And, this track incorporates a lot of the most difficult parts of the circuit, particularly that S-bend. Danny Albin going wide through the hairpin. He's abandoning that particular run, but Dave Roberts, whoa, going sideways and into the wall. That is one of the places where you're going to see some drivers' heats or features end. It's very difficult to get the car pulled up if you hit the grass, which is very easy to do in that section.
Yeah, Ross Thallon here back in 21st, the RSW graphics machine.
Off he goes.
There's the start-finish line. On board, turn 1's flat, little dab of the brakes to turn 2, that's what I'm seeing. And then you really get on them for turn 3. Obviously, you pull that handbrake, it's a bit like dropping an anchor at the back of the car. It's going to swing that back around, but you also lose quite a bit of momentum. If you pull it off perfectly, Reese, I imagine it is the quickest way to do it, but none of these drivers are professional rallycross drivers, and as such, the chances of getting it absolutely perfect is almost zero.
Yeah, exactly right. And Fallon demonstrating the final couple turns as well. A descending chicane that you're braking all the way through. It's effectively one corner, and I was continually distracted there by Fallon's helmet, just saying that's quite the design he has. Yeah, well, God, I'm going to stop before I say something I can't say on the broadcast. Ay. Jay's glad that it's me getting picked on for a change. Well, I'm happy for you. Goodness me!
Cameron Jets finally gets on the racetrack, and Worm Paint's car says, "We don't want you here."
Yeah, that was Alex Purley, the drifter, serving him one. Alex in the Subaru.
That's what you get for bringing Feldman to the series.
Yeah.
How's that pit exit, though?
Oh, yeah, Adam Cannell there. And in my testing earlier today of this layout, I was in the last pit stall when I started, and I thought, how on earth am I going to get out of the pits? Whoa, no need to use the handbrake there, because the grass did the job very nicely there for Adam. But yeah, that pit exit, not going to be a great way for drivers to get their way onto the racetrack. Fortunately, they don't need to use the pit lane during the races. But if they end up getting some damage and want to get it repaired, then they're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, and again, Cannell using some of the grass. I reckon he used the handbrake as well. That's an example of how not to do it. See how wide he ended up, and he basically came to a stop before he then gassed it back up again. Chuggan flag comes out in the practice session. We'll head into qualifying as someone takes an adventurous pit entry. And they'll get 8 laps in qualifying. We've seen drivers turn them all out at once. We've seen a lot of drivers do a lap, go back to pits, do a lap, go back to pits, rinse and repeat to the end of the session.
Well, we are indeed live for qualifying, and drivers making their way out of the circuit. They're split up into groups for their qualifying session, and you just saw Cannell there having to reverse in order to get out of the pit box. It's a little inconvenient for him, but at the very least, they've got plenty of time to get their laps done. A lap around here is only 30 seconds, and they got a full 10 minutes to do 8 of them.
Remember, they go out in groups as well, so they can all only see 5 people on the racetrack. We can see them all. Jeremy Clark,
Wow.
committed through 1 and 2. And hugs the apex nicely to turn 3. Could be a good banker lap for him.
Certainly could, but he's going to have to line up this downhill chicane nicely. Keeps it on the curbs nicely. Smooth line through the dip and keeping it tight towards the exit. So what's this time going to be from Jeremy Clark? It's going to be a 29.947. That puts him to the top of the standings for now. Only 3 drivers set times, now 4. Kyle Stevens, our series organizer, slots himself in there. Matthew Feldman with a good opening campaign. He has just gone to 2nd place. Hugh McLaughlin to 3rd.
So that lap from Clark's about a 6 hundredths of a second, away from his practice time. For reference there in terms of pace compared to earlier on, as we ride on board with Ruol. Had to chuck in the opposite lock and abandons that lap.
It's difficult there going into turns 1 and 2. It's, the entry into turn 1 looks nice and open as Jamie Taylor demonstrates, but turn 2 is a lot tighter than it looks, and the curb, as you can see, is incredibly thin. So you have to be very careful on the exit there. It's more about lining yourself up for the braking zone in the exit from that hairpin.
It looks like a lot of fun, though.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, it is.
That looks a bit wide from Taylor. It's out of shape, is what it definitely is. Really having to use the curves to get it slowed down there. A tiny slide out of the corner. This lap from Taylor will be a 31.099, so about 3 tenths off his previous best in the session. Alex Purley's got up to 3rd place. Cameron Dance is 4th after being nowhere in practice so far.
Yeah, Cameron doing pretty well at the moment. And Michael Skurlock in lucky 13th. Currently on a 30.567. But from the practice times, you can see that everyone was able to refine their times down to at least a 30.4, which certainly makes things nice and close throughout this field. And Alex Purley struggling to get out of the pits, but then he finally puts the power down. He is out in the Subi. Cam letting, I believe that was Ross Thalen, go. And Mia Ott, we have to keep an eye on as well. She had some real potential for a strong performance at Mid-Ohio, and unfortunately got involved in a couple of incidents along the way. She'll be hoping for something better from this round, but as it stands, qualifying performance not quite where she'd want it. It's going to ensure a lower start in one of the later heats.
Unless one of the next 5 laps is a massive improvement. Hugh McLaughlin has gone fastest, gone 9 thousandths quicker than Clark. Ott goes to 8th of that attempt.
Good stuff right there. And McLaughlin looking very uncomfortable up there in first with only 9 thousandths of a second separating himself and Jeremy Clark. Also, keeping an eye on Matthew Feldman myself as well. McLaughlin goes very wide coming out of turn 2, but Feldman back on a hot lap. And remember, this guy topped the practice times, so I'm expecting something interesting from Mr. Feldman here. Across the start-finish line, it is a 30.075. That's an improvement in time, but not an improvement in position. So the gap now only a tenth and a bit between first and third.
Very tight, isn't it? And a big gap then back to the rest of the field from that top 3. They do look to be the class of the field at the moment. Still got 5 minutes left in the session here. On board with Danny Albin. This doesn't look like a fast line for him.
Almost getting up on 2 wheels there, coming through the dip. And it's looking like that was a 48.7 from him, which I believe is certainly more of an out lap time than a hot lap time. He's continuing on here, taking the tight exit, getting the car straightened up as soon as possible, use the full 600 horsepower of that turbo 4-cylinder motor and all 4 wheels. Driving him out of the corner there. Still 2-wheeling it through the downhill chicane is Danny. But across the line he goes, and it's a 30.937. Still no improvement for him. So a 30.75 is the quickest time he's got so far. He's going to have to find at least 4/10 if he wants to vault some way up the field. Alex Purley, on the other hand, in 4th place at the moment. And using some of that drift experience, evidently, but not quite keeping it on the black stuff.
I wonder if that has potential to be quick. If he really throws it in there and hooks it well.
Oh, Jason Markovsky's giving it a red hot go as well, isn't he? Oh, goodness me, Cameron. What on earth? Something's going on here between all these drivers coming back into the pits. It looks like they might have all done their laps, so they're just messing around at the end of the session. We've only really just gone past half time in qualifying. Still got 3 minutes 20 to go. So everyone getting their laps done nice and early. What of Gavin Sadler?
Tell you who's misfired in this session so far is Mizomo.
Yeah, he was 3rd in practice, but at the moment not in the top 10. So only about half a tenth he needs to try and get into that top 10. Sadler, it looks like, improved on that and actually shafts Mizomo out of 11th place and down to 12th.
Miles Bond will come back out onto the racetrack. I think Jeremy Clark was doing the same. Only 9 thousandths he needs to equal McLaughlin. A tenth to go quicker than him. See the steering that he's got to put on. See the steering that he's got to use, even at that slow speed to get through that corner.
Yeah, you got to wind on all the lock in these cars to get around that hairpin, but the benefit is you can get on the power nice and early, and the 4-wheel drive just allows you to use the power instantly. I think Miles might be gearing up for another lap here. Carl Stevens is coming across the line for his final lap, and he has not been able to improve on his particular time. So Miles Bond then, on the verge. And just at the end of the top 10, can he improve? Almost 2-wheeling it there through the hairpin. You really use all the grip possible on those outside tyres around here.
He does. How committed does he want to be? Into the chicane. Oh, it's got away from him. He's sliding. He's spinning. He's off the track. He's out of the racetrack.
All right. Deciding to go down the escape road. So it looks like that might be it. I don't see much trace of many other cars out on track. There is one, and it is the...
There's still time to go out and do a lap.
Yeah, there is, but it looks like a lot of drivers are just waiting for the final dying moments of the session here.
Clark's about to finish his final lap of the session, and it's good enough for the pole. There you go. By a tenth of a second, he goes quicker than Hugh McLaughlin. Big gap.
Excellent stuff there from Jeremy Clark. And Jamie Taylor looks like, unfortunately, not able to improve on that occasion. And he's done all of his laps. So other than him, I don't really see anyone else going out for one final run in the final minute of this session. So at the moment, the times pretty much as close as they were at Mid-Ohio when you account for the extra distance around this circuit. I think we're in for quite the fun night.
Certainly are. Tenth of a second.
You sound very interested.
Jeremy Clark. A tenth of a second doesn't seem like much, but it is a lot, given it's only a 29-second lap. And the gap before that was 9 thousandths of a second, as time will run down on the session, and we will have our qualifying order set, which now sets us for the heats. We are going to use up 3 heats today. 4 heats. Yes, 4 heats is the final number there. It populated very slowly then. And this is the starting grid for heat number 1. Jeremy Clark's got the pole. Mirot will start alongside John Schultz and Daniel Stevens, 3rd and 4th. Jamie Taylor and Jason Markowski, 5th and 6th.
And a reminder that the top 2 from the heats get a free ride straight through into the feature. And with only 6 cars on track, there's certainly the potential for drivers to space out quite early, but we know from last round at Mid-Ohio that lap 1 is certainly the place to be if you want some carnage. And we are green. Away we go. That's
Good
not
start
the best
from
start from
Mirot.
Clark.
Oh, Clark has to cover her off into 1. Going to be safe down into turn 3. As a big lunge at the back, taking him 3 wide, and they come together. Daniel Stevens ends up dropping a ton of time. Jamie Taylor loses out, and Markowski will go from 6th to 4th, down at turn 3.
On for the lead already. Mia Ott is right on the back of Jeremy Clark here. She's managed to get an excellent run, not just with that great start, but keeping the pressure up crucially. Not going to be an opportunity to go up the inside here. Jeremy Clark just staying far enough ahead to stay in front.
He was
actually
very
getting
good.
a nice exit out of there.
He launched off the hairpin very nicely. Pulled out quite a few car lengths. Blink of an eye. John Schultz back there in 3rd, hoping one of them comes together to give him a transfer spot. Markowski, Stevens, Taylor, all pretty much spread out as well. So the top 2 are the closest to right now. Now the question for Mirot is whether she plays hard and tries to get the win, or whether she settles for the final transfer spot.
Once again, Jeremy Clark getting the power down beautifully out of the hairpin. He seems to have the gearing of that VW Beetle set up very nicely. Only 5 laps in the heats here. So it is the penultimate lap now, and Ott going a little bit wide out of the final corner, which isn't going to help her campaign here for the heat win. They still are gapping John Schultz, though. Oh, slightly wide there from Jeremy Clark, and Ott finding the grass, but fortunately they don't come together once again. They are closer indeed.
She's very good through 1 and 2, which could set her up nicely for a look up the inside. Gets into the back of him, gives him a push, but she doesn't go on with it. She decides to redress. And that's going to mean Clark's got a nice margin heading into the final lap of the race.
Yeah, certainly, but just finds the grass there in the braking zone. Mia is trying her best here to size up the exit, but it looks like Clark has her covered once again. The rest of our drivers are not in any battles. So final corner then. Mia tries one more time.
Again.
Almost, but it looks like Jeremy Clark is going to come across the line here to take the win in Heat 1. So he and Mia are straight through into the feature.
Good race between those two. Schultz will miss out. Markowski, Taylor, and Stevens will all have to work their way through the consolation to try and make themselves a part of the feature. Heat 2, Hugh McLaughlin on the pole for this one with James Rewalt alongside him. Miles Bond and Adam Cannell starting 3rd and 4th. Michael Skurlock and Adam Neal from 5th and 6th.
Now, Hugh McLaughlin starting on, well, I think it's difficult to tell which side is really the dirty side of the grid here, because the cars kind of go across the track as they're going across the start-finish line. So the actual places where the rubber gets put down are little different car to car. They are revving up, and we're getting ready to go green.
Waiting.
The drivers
for
are
one
raring
more
to
driver.
go.
Adam Neal hasn't gridded up, making him wait. There's always one.
Yeah. Well, the 1 minute timer's up. I don't think he's going to make it.
Here we go. Revs rise. Let's get Heat 2 underway.
Oh, jump start.
From who?
That's from Adam Cannell. So he will have a penalty out of that one, but we do have a start, and McLaughlin actually getting a very good launch off the line. James Ruolt, though, under big pressure from Miles Bond already coming into the first couple of turns, and oh, Miles Bond up on 2 wheels. He's lost all of that momentum.
So Cannell wasn't moving when the lights went out, but he moved a little bit before they did. Rolled forward on his box, that'll make him a penalty. Unless he's extremely fortunate. What a great launch it was.
Made it onto the circuit.
For McLaughlin, though, on that initial start. Pulled a massive gap by the time they reached turn 3. Rewalt already, though, looking to close it in.
Yeah, looks like it, but a little bit wide out of the hairpin. Same sort of situation we saw between Mia Ott and Jeremy Clark in the last heat. Just seems like McLaughlin is able to get on the power very nicely out of those tight corners, and that's where the advantage is for him. He's actually gapped Ruolt very much on this lap.
He has 4 cents per second. Cannell's in pit lane, serving that penalty, and I think he's having a few issues in actually serving it as well. In fact, he has decided to take a tow, and he'll just settle for the back of the grid in the C main and hope he can work his way through. About to begin lap 4 of this one. Remember, only 5 laps, and the top 2 go through, so Bond needs to find something in third. He was half a second slower than Rewalt last lap, though, so I don't think he's got it up his sleeve at the moment.
Yeah, looks like Hugh McLaughlin's got this covered very nicely. Hard on the power once again. I see James Ruolt showing hints of coming back at him, but I don't think it's going to happen before the end of this one. Ruolt, 30.015 last lap, a 30.06 from Hugh McLaughlin, so Ruolt actually faster, but only by a hair's breadth. 30.1 from McLaughlin, and a 29.9 from James Ruolt. He is looking very quick, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
No, it won't be. It's the final lap, and Hugh McLaughlin has got enough of a gap as we head down into the last 2 corners. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, which he doesn't, comes through there nicely. So Hugh McLaughlin going to take out heat number 2 after a good launch, set himself up for the rest of the race. Ruolt will go through with him.
Yeah, Miles Bond ultimately finishing in 3rd place. Michael Skurlock gains a position. Adam Neal losing, or actually gaining a position there, despite starting from the pits thanks to Adam Cannell's penalty for jumping at the start. So it's going to be quite the interesting C main when we get around to it. McLaughlin is doing a few celebratory donuts out there on circuit. We're going to be moving through into Heat 3 very shortly, and I'm looking forward to this one because what a grid we've got.
Yeah, this is a very good grid, isn't it? Starting on the pole is Matthew Feldman, Cameron Dance next to him, Gavin Sadler and Dave Roberts, 3rd and 4th, Danny Albin, and Weston Newell, 5th and 6th.
Hey, Weston Newell.
Certainly any one of the top 4 could win this one. And,
yeah, they certainly could.
Albin and Newell will be right there with them as well. As the green flag's out, Heat 3 is underway. Good launch from Feldman. He'll run clear down through 1 and 2. Sadler and Albin are going to come together, maybe. Roberts in there as well. They'll get through there cleanly.
Looks like it for now. Matthew Feldman with that fantastic launch, getting the advantage he needs over Cam Dance, but you can see Dance already trying his best to close that gap and going for the wide line out of the final turn, trying to get a little bit extra momentum. Lap 1 complete then for all of our drivers. We're not seeing big battle packs, but it's looking quite interesting in the midfield because Roberts just 2-wheeled it through the hairpin, losing a bit of momentum there to Gavin Sadler. And seeing at the back of the field, Danny Albin and Weston Newell are almost together. Weston trying to size it up, coming into the chicane, going very deep and going for the outside line, which is not going to immediately help him there versus Danny Albin.
No, it's not. Up at the front, it's on. Cameron Dance trying to pull the big slider because Feldman was sideways as well. That was almost contact. Now here comes Dave Roberts. Dance under pressure. Might lose his transfer spot.
Oh,
Oh, that's tight. That's a
Dave.
very shallow line. And he's done it,
Wow.
though. Roberts has got by him.
I can't believe that. Sadler trying to take advantage as well. What a move from Dave Roberts. Just as we switch to that, Albin and Newell came together as well, so they're carrying some damage, and Sadler immediately getting a slowdown, I think, for leaving the circuit. But Dave Roberts now up into second. That's some excellent opportunistic driving from him to take advantage of our leaders coming together.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And cast your mind back to last week when Dance gave up a heat win from a mistake. I'd be very annoyed if he cost himself a transfer spot because of a mistake this week. As we hit our final lap, and the gap between second and third is non-existent, as Dance got anything up his sleeve to try and pull this one back, as Feldman again is wide, and Dance into the back of Roberts.
Oh, Dave Roberts might be smelling an opportunity here. He's not quite far up enough to make a move. Dance has a look at him. Coming into the final chicane. They just managed to keep it going. Oh, Dance
he turns him.
There we
He
go.
has to redress.
Well, looks like that's going to sort that one out. Feldman takes victory, but Dave Roberts gets through into the feature with a fantastic second place finish. Cameron Dance certainly gave it a red hot go, but ultimately, nothing doing.
Well, what a race that was. Sadler, Neil Owen, 4th, 5th, and 6th in that one into our final heat then of the night. Alex Purley will lead 5 cars to the green. Kyle Stevens next to him. Mizomo from 3rd. William Murray from 4th. Rostellon from 5th. Here we go.
Looking forward to seeing how this one goes. The revs rise, and it is immediately away. Great start from Purley. Manages to cover them off, coming into the first couple turns. Let's see if there's any big moves being made.
Oh,
Simon
big snap.
Mizomo. Oh, yeah, that was a big snap there from Alex. Simon Mizomo trying to have a look at Kyle Stevens. And Mizomo's going to have to be careful here. This is the series admin he's racing. He had a little bit of a look, but ultimately deciding better off trying it on another lap.
He'll try again. I don't think he'll be thinking about Kyle's role at the moment as a series admin. He wants that transfer spot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't want to make the same mistake as his TechSense teammate. Whoa!
Whoa!
No!
Oh my goodness gracious me. So,
And big damage for Steven. Steering's broken. He's out.
wow. Okay, so what on earth happened there? I think William Murray, that was quite the interesting incident there. We'll go to a modem simulation replay, because what on earth happened? I'd like to see it from on board, from Murray's perspective here, because firing it into the turn and the drivers in front slowing up, I think Murray just lost it under brakes.
You know who is thinking about who runs the series now? William Murray.
Yeah.
He just took him clean out of a transfer spot.
Bam! Goodness me. Wow. Can't quite believe that. But as we go back to live pictures, Alex Purley now enjoys a great gap as Kyle Stevens retires from this heat. He'll be very unhappy with how that incident happened between himself and William Murray. But Simon Mizomo now preserving that second place. I think he only managed to just escape that incident with minimal damage. Alex Purley is going to get the white flag this time round, and it's been a pretty dominant performance from him in that Subi.
Yeah, probably aided by the fact that second and third almost got clean bowled. Second place did get clean bowled. I thought Stevens had escaped without damage for a moment, but then his car took a hard left into the fence. So Purley shows us why he needs to qualify first, because you stay ahead of the drama. He'll win our final heat of the night, and he'll go through to the feature. Mizomo will go with him. Ross Talon, Murray, Kyle Stevens gonna have to work their way through the consolations.
And of course, Kyle Stevens classified one lap down, but retiring from that one. So that's our 4 heats done. Now it is time for the C main. 7 laps, and the top 4 will go through into the B main.
And this is how they'll line up for this one. Gavin Sadler will have the pole, William Murray will start next to him. Daniel Stevens, Adam Neal, 3rd and 4th. Weston Neal, Kyle Stevens from 5th and 6th. Jamie Taylor, Adam Cannell, Donny Albin. Your 9 cars come into the green for your C main.
So then, Gavin Sadler got the advantage here. Hopefully he gets the power down nicely. And the green flag goes. We are away. Not the best start from Sadler. Looks like he's going to almost get swallowed up there by William Murray, but super fast is Adam Neal. He just plowed his way through the first 2 turns there. And
William Murray gets turned onto his side. Goes. Weston Neal.
Goodness me.
That was just all sorts of messy.
That certainly was, and it looked like it was started up by Adam Neal, just going on the way through turn 1 and 2. Kyle Stevens, of course, involved in that and carrying a lot of damage, with Adam Cannell going on by Jamie Taylor, who I think is serving a slowdown there. Either that or he's carrying a lot of damage. So Adam Cannell now in the final transfer spot.
Well, that rather thinned out our field.
Yeah.
That was a case of 9 into 1 don't work.
Yeah, certainly. It looked like everyone just getting into each other and ultimately nowhere to go. Adam Cannell looks like starting to advance on Daniel Stevens as our 2nd place man. Adam Neal goes wide there in the hairpin. That's going to allow both Stevens and Cannell through. Stevens has to slow down there. I think he might have deemed himself at fault somehow in that incident, but Cannell now through into 2nd. Stevens going very hard down into the downhill section, and actually Adam Neal looks like not getting the best of exits, so his position is under threat here. Himself at fault somehow in that incident.
Whoa, up the inside.
Yep. Down he goes. And Daniel Stevens gets it done on Adam Neal, but Neal with a slightly better exit with the wider line. Will he chuck one up the inside here? I mean, he'll definitely know that he's in the transfer spot, so he doesn't need to do too much. Daniel Stevens, take care, mate.
Holds on to it. Most good of his teeth. If these two take each other out, then they cost themselves a transfer and ruin the rest of their night. If you don't get inside the top 4 here, you're going home. Jamie Taylor now is close right up to them.
Oh, that little trip through the grass isn't going to help his case much. Daniel Stevens actually getting quite a nice exit out of the hairpin. Got the advantage there over Adam Neal.
I reckon a few of these guys are picking up slowdowns through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because I just saw Jamie Taylor down on the brakes coming out of the hairpin as well.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. With Adam Neal as well, suffering a few issues there. He'll be under threat now from Jamie in 5th. Only 1.5 seconds between them as our race leader Gavin Sadler crosses the line to begin his final lap. So it's all to play for between Adam Neal and Jamie Taylor here, and they've got William Murray advancing behind them as well to take advantage if they come together.
Now, he should be fine.
Oh, almost. Looks like he has the gap down pat there. The Sadler coming out of the final corner to take victory here in the C main. And that's the kind of victory that Sadler would have been expecting from earlier in the night. Adam Cannell finishes in 2nd place with Daniel Stevens completing the podium. Adam Neal is going to join them in advancing through into the B main.
Wild start to the C main. What will the B main bring us? Because the B main is going to have 10 drivers. John Schultz, Miles Bond, Cameron Dance, Ross Stallone, Joseph Markowski, Michael Skurlock, Gavin Sadler, Adam Cannell, Daniel Stevens, and Adam Neal, your 4 drivers, 7th through 10th, that transferred from the C.
And in this B main, only the winner. Oh no, sorry, my apologies. The numbers change, man. The numbers change on our end when the race goes live. But we're going to get a start soon. If you finish 7th or above, you get straight through into the feature. Let's go.
Good start. This will be tight, down into 3. Look at Schultz. He's trying to cover them off. As Miles Bond looks, Cameron Dance lunges. They all turn around. And Dance and Bond both get turned.
Markowski
and Dance
too.
reverses straight into Daniel Stevens.
Oh, man. That's quite embarrassing there. So, a lot of drivers with very bruised cars, and I think bruised egos as well. Oh, Michael Skurlock going straight on there at the chicane. And Adam Neal putting himself up into 4th place already. Seems that his Devil May Care driving tonight has almost paid off, but not quite here. He has to... Oh, just getting a tap there from Michael Skurlock as Jason Markowski goes through to take that 4th place.
This hairpin's proving almost as disastrous as Turn 1 last week.
Yeah.
Mid-Ohio.
That it is. John Schultz is enjoying quite the gap, but it is on for 2nd and 3rd between Ross Thalen and Gavin Sadler. Sadler vaulting his way across the curb. Adam Neal in the pits as Gavin Sadler goes up the inside of Ross Thalen and pushes him off the circuit. So Gavin Sadler now through into 2nd place, and Thalen is going to lose out here to Jason Markowski.
And let him go as well. Either didn't want to fight that or he had to slow down to serve at the end of the straight. John Schultz, by the way, cruising. 2.5 seconds in hand over everyone else at the moment.
Shows you what Schultz could have done were it not for the incidents in the heats. Markowski 2-wheeling it through the hairpin. You can't take too much of that curb, otherwise the car gets up onto 2 wheels and it just starts to continue rotating. Got to be very careful. Markowski right on... actually Ross Thalen right on the back of Jason Markowski there, if I can get my words out. Still on for 3rd. And Michael Skurlock still pursuing these guys. But with only 2 laps to go at the end of this one, don't know if he's going to be able to get it done. Tell you what, Thalen almost having a try there at Markowski. That almost ended in tears.
Schultz is the only driver in this race not to pick up an incident point, as of yet.
That's an achievement.
Yeah. One driver's already hit 10, but Jay failed to tell us which driver.
Oh, he's not saying, because 12 is the incident limit, apparently, before you get automatically disqualified. And... oh, we'll drive through. My apologies. But Cameron Dance, I think, is going to be ruining this one. He's not catching Miles Bond at any rate and carrying a lot of damage as our leader has begun his final lap. So I don't think we're going to see Cameron Dance in the feature unless something happens between all of these guys.
No, I don't think it helped that he reversed 2 cars after he got spun.
Yes.
Bumper to bumper, third on back, but Schultz and Sadler, they're well clear. John Schultz gonna take out our B main. He stays clear of the drama. He goes through into the feature. Good win. Sadler will go with him. So too Markowski, Ross Thalen, Michael Skurlock, Daniel Stevens, and Miles Bond will come home in 7th. Cameron Dance will go home.
As will everyone behind him in the form of Adam Cannell and Adam Neal. Well, that was certainly a race befitting of the series name. It was hard and it was fast. But we're through now into the feature. This is going to be a 15-lap dash, and we have got a 15-car field for this one.
Jeremy Clark, Hugh McLaughlin, Matthew Feldman, Alex Purley, Miro, James Ruel, Dave Roberts, Mizomo, Schultz, Gavin Sadler, Markowski, Thalen, Skurlock, Daniel Stevens, Miles Bond, and Jamie Taylor. Your 15 cars.
I believe Jamie Taylor is not competing in this one. Miles Bond is the last car on the grid here at the moment.
Yes.
But
I can't count.
That is okay. Hopefully, we'll be able to count down 3, 2, 1, go here as the revs rise, and we are away now for our feature.
Good start.
And that is,
Look at that.
Oh, great start from Hugh McLaughlin. He's past Jeremy Clark here into turn 1. Bit of contact, though, but he takes the lead. And there's a melee probably starting further on back. They're going 3 wide, potentially 4 wide. There are cars around just about. Oh, I'm seeing Alex Purley in the Subaru. Yep. He is the main casualty from lap 1.
Hurley got turned, I think, by Feldman as they came together on the exit of the hairpin. Otherwise, nice and clean. Through the first lap, McLaughlin leading from Clark. How crucial will that launch be? Feldman back in 3rd, Mirot. Jones Rewalt 4th and 5th.
And from 6th on back, it's looking like quite the race going on because Markovski is holding off Mazomo, who's holding off Thalen. Just behind them is Daniel Stevens, Gavin Sadler, and Miles Bond all together in a pack coming down into the downhill. And Gavin Sadler is a long way away from his C-Main win here. Hasn't got it easy out the front. He's got 2 Volkswagen Beetles and a Subaru Impreza bearing down on him as it is on once again for 3rd place because have a look at Matthew Feldman under immense pressure from Mia Ott and James Ruwalt.
I finally figured out what that hairpin reminds me of these cars. It reminds me of the bumper cars where you've got the island in the middle you have to drive around. And you have those awkward corners with bumper cars going every which way. Dodgem cars, bumper cars, same thing. Down at turn 3.
Oh, Feldman wide. Take it easy, guys. Matthew Feldman only just managing to hold off Mia Ott. James Ruwalt is going to try up the inside. Little look, but ultimately backing out of it. Doesn't want to push too hard. And Jay, we do excuse your Victorian words. Of course, Ryan's up in Queensland. I'm over in WA, so we all have our own isms that we must deal with.
We know how to self-quarantine.
Oh boy. Take it easy, because Matthew Feldman goes wide.
Jeremy
and up
Clark.
the front.
He's gone side by side with McLaughlin. Here we go. He's got the inside runner for the last 2 corners. But McLaughlin's going to try and hang around the outside. Oh, superb.
Superb indeed. How on earth did that happen? Hugh McLaughlin is able to do things with that Fiesta that no man on this earth can do at the moment.
He's making it look cool.
Yeah, he is, certainly. Taking back the race lead in style, but Jeremy Clark is by no means done with him.
No, certainly not. Definitely got the pace set. I wonder if it was a mistake that it allowed Clark to get to the inside of McLaughlin. Lap 6. We're about to hit lap 7 of 15. Double the length of our C and B main.
Going to a modem simulation replay. This is Jason Markovski. Losing 4 spots, apparently. Let's see what happened to him here. That's Daniel Stevens behind him. Markovski goes right off onto the grass and backs it into the hairpin. Wow! Oh, no! Actually turned over Stevens. Poor Daniel Stevens. He has the worst luck in this series.
That was almost a brilliant execution of a reverse entry.
Almost.
Until Stevens' car appeared.
That's a big shame there. I do hope that Daniel Stevens' luck turns around because he can certainly wheel one of these cars around. But for the lead, still Jeremy Clark trying to stay in touch with Hugh McLaughlin. He's brought the gap back down to 0.3 of a second. But they have the pack advancing behind them. Matthew Feldman, Mia Ott, and James Ruwalt still all locked together in battle.
And Feldman was quicker than McLaughlin last time by. This time by it's a 30.2, 30.4, 30.1. Feldman again, the quickest of the 3.
Oh, Jeremy Clark! Oh, goodness me. Okay, all right.
Checked them all up. Here comes Ott. Turns Feldman around.
Oh.
Mia, no.
Mia, no. So Matthew Feldman, his first time in this series, an ignominious exit from the top 4 in the feature. He's going to have to get that thing turned around. Modem simulation replay. Let's take another look at what happened.
This all stemmed from Clark as he slid in. Feldman just lifted off ever so slightly, which allowed Ott to the inside. How close is he hitting McLaughlin? Right there. Feldman checks up. Ott gets to the inside and then just drives into him.
Yeah, getting on the power, a little bit of understeer. That's what ultimately did it for Mia Ott and Matthew Feldman. And Mia Ott now having to protect from Ruwalt here into the final couple corners.
That's an awkward angle.
That is very awkward. Ott leaves the space on the inside, but Ruwalt not able to take advantage for the time being. And this is a battle for a podium position now.
The gap between the top two is 1.3 seconds. 2/10 quicker was Clark, but he might be too far back now. After that mistake a lap or two ago. Ruwalt's not as close on this lap to Mia.
Yeah, only 4 laps to go for our race leader, Hugh McLaughlin.
Although, 3/10 quicker on that lap. Might be there for a last lap gasp.
Oh, here comes Ruwalt. Down the inside, Ott gives him the room. And that's a cleanly executed move from James.
Gave him a bit too much room.
Yeah, she's lost quite a bit of time as a result of that. Now has a gap that she'll need to make up. Ruwalt running a little bit wide there into the downhill section. Jeremy Clark continuing his stone-faced pursuit of Hugh McLaughlin. Made a couple of mistakes and
Only finds a 10th, but that's a mistake from McLaughlin. That brings it down by a couple tenths right there.
And between Ruwalt and Ott, it is side by side again because Ruwalt ran wide through the hairpin. He's going to try and protect from Ott here. Mia goes up the inside into the downhill. Ruwalt holding the outside. Will he be able to?
No.
They come
Stop
together
turning
completely.
people around.
Oh, well,
I think
it looks
that was
like
probably more Ruwalt than anything. Squeezed her to an impossible angle into that corner. And their slide is on through two. How committed are they both? And check out who's going to get involved now. Here comes Mizomo.
Have a look at Simon.
Ruwalt. What a run.
Excellent run. And he would have seen how the outside works through this downhill section, but backs out of it. White flag,
meanwhile, up front,
for our top
there's
two.
one more lap. Look at McLaughlin. He's not got much over Clark. If he makes a mistake, he's in trouble. Into turn 3. Clark will get to his bumper. There's a car on the outside. That's who is that? That's Miles Bond, who's a lap or 2 down. And into the final corner. It's all on behind them. Mizomo's got by Ruwalt. But Hugh McLaughlin, the launch off the line will pay dividends because he will hold it all the way to the checkered flag. Race win, feature win for Hugh McLaughlin.
Oh, Mizomo's got to slow down. He's lost third.
Mizomo.
On the podium. Oh,
What
wow.
have you done?
And Dave Roberts, looks like Dave Roberts ultimately wasn't able to finish on... No, hang on a minute. I didn't call that correctly. I think Mia got the podium there.
Yeah, you know why? So Mizomo had a slowdown.
Okay, Mia just got a time penalty. Dave Roberts is on the podium. James Ruwalt got a time penalty as well.
Yeah, you know why? Replay the last corner because Mizomo got a slowdown because of the penultimate corner. But look at the line that Ruwalt took through that same corner. So he had a slowdown that he didn't serve.
All right, well, time to cue it up. Modem simulation replay. Let's have a look. So, focusing on Ruwalt. This is the final lap. Down into the hairpin, Ott protecting the inside. Ruwalt goes wide, lets Mizomo go.
Watch Mizomo's line. He gets a slowdown for this, so you'd have to expect Ruwalt could have slowed down for what he did. Through here is fine, it's the left.
Oh, yeah, Mizomo just goes straight off the track and Ruwalt follows him too. So, wow. Looks like Dave Roberts was the big beneficiary out of all of that.
Went from 6th to 3rd on the last lap without passing anybody.
And we're going to take another look at this spectacular pass around the outside from Hugh McLaughlin. Amazing that he was able to hold it, and great respect given by Jeremy Clark as well to allow him that room around the outside. That's what good racing looks like.
I still don't know how Mira ended up losing out, because she didn't get a slowdown. She went from 3rd to 11th.
Oh, how close was it?
It's a mammoth penalty.
Yeah, she might have gotten a slowdown a bit earlier on that she had not served, perhaps, because I don't see any trace of admin decisions giving a penalty. But we do have race results here. McLaughlin and Clark separated by just under 3/10. Dave Roberts completes the podium 7.1 seconds back. Mazzomo 4th and John Schultz rounding out the top 5. Sadler and Markowski 6th and 7th. Michael Skurlock and Matthew Feldman, the newest driver to the series, finishing in 9th on his debut, but he certainly has the potential to be up there and winning races. And Alex Purley rounds out the top 10.
Yep. And then Mira, Ruwalt, Bond, Fallon, and Daniel Stevens, 15 cars. That's how they finish in the feature. What a night.
Man.
That was great fun. For our 3rd round of the blipclothing.com Hard and Fast series. Next time out, we head to another track, another short track. We're taking these rallycross cars to the best of the short circuits on the iRacing service over the course of this season. We had Barcelona week 1. We had Mid-Ohio week 2. We're at Barber Motorsports Park today. And we head to the Charlotte Legend short track next week out.
Ooh.
That will be a lot of fun. But for tonight, we wrap up. From myself, Ryan Jones, and Reese Garner alongside. How much fun that was to commentate. We'll be back next week at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, for more of the action from Charlotte. Until then, bye for now.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God! Oh, big crash! Oh my goodness! Half the field's gonna get rolled.
Six very close. These guys I want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go.
Oh no!
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?